I think we are live. I think we're live right now. I think we're live. So the past couple of minutes here have been really interesting for the crypto market. I mean, I decided to open up a stream about 20 minutes ago or so. I wanted to stream a little bit later in the day today because a lot of you guys have been requesting that. But all of a sudden now, throughout the past couple of minutes, all of a sudden things are starting to pop off. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, so BTC, for example, just broke through $89,000. Everything has all of a sudden started to move over the past, I'm going to say 10 minutes here or so. And just again, from about 15 minutes ago, we've gone from 87.5K to about 89.1. And this to y'all may not seem like a big deal, but it is. Because right now we're breaking the barrier. What barrier are we talking about? Well, that depends on where we go over the next, I'm going to say 1 hour or so. Here's a 50-minute chart to give you some more indication. Just recently here, this is again for BTC, hey, wait a minute. Oh, I sold there, right? This is sell. Oh, that's a sell. Okay, I was looking for something. I was going to say, right here, looking at this chart, one thing that becomes quite apparent is that we've got a previous top to beat. The top from just 2 days ago, which is roughly, I'm going to say, the levels which are trading at right now. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're breaking through. So for all of you that I cannot see, right now, Bitcoin is at 89.3K-ish. We're pumping really, really hard. And I've got all the freaking news outlets open. But what I basically said earlier today in the video is things are looking pretty good. And right now, this stream, if it was not for the price just, oh my days, we're pumping more. If it was not for the price just pumping right now, all I was basically going to say is, like I've been saying for the past couple of videos, every single bearish factor is over. I'm worried of more manipulation like I always am, of course, but realistically here, it makes more sense to buy rather than to sell going into December 10th. And again, the higher up the price goes, we just keep on zooming, the more risky that strategy gets. When again, you're looking at the overall Bitcoin chart, like I've been saying for a while, everything below 83,000 is super, super cheap. The video I just made a few hours ago is talking about the idea that perhaps the altcoin season or the crazy season of 2026 is still actually yet to happen. And I'll keep saying the exact same thing, which is, sure, you may get burnt buying around these levels. It's true, right? You may buy now and actually hate your life for a little while. But remember that nobody in the history of Bitcoin has ever gotten burnt buying because over a prolonged period of time, it always worked out. Anywhere you could have bought at would have always been, returned to you with some good amounts of profit. Anyway, if we're talking about where we need to be, you can see right here, right? We've got a lot of hurdles to get over, but in the grand scheme of things, there's really not that much before we easily bring ourselves back to 93,000. Now, if we look at some of the reports about short-term holders, etc., there is, of course, a bit more of a battle to be formed, but take a look at things today. So, for example, this is a little bit too long of a chart. Let's go 15-minute chart here. I was going to say, if we take a look at the S&P today, 15-minute chart is not that many 15 minutes, huh? Never mind. I was going to say, we are up pretty good on that as well. Let me quickly see how my trades are doing. I also trade the S&P for all of you that do not know. I bought earlier this morning around open. Let's quickly see how much profit that or loss that is in. I think a pretty good amount of profit. Let's quickly give this a little second. So whatever I bought is, so per lot is about, so my buying price just today was 68.05. And right now we are, at least on Bybit, at 68.40. Here we are about 68.30. So per lot, that is about what? I guess $34 profit or something like that. So it's definitely not too bad. It's pretty interesting when you start breaking it down. 8 seconds ago says GG market. Well, I mean, we're not in the clear. This is just a small thing, right? But we're pumping more. This is looking very, very good. 89.5. Okay, this is now starting to get really interesting here. And by the way, I put a link in the pinned section of the stream. So two things I'll quickly say. One, if you've not pressed that like button yet, right now is your #1 best time to do so. You will gain absolutely nothing, but we've got 150 people watching. We've only got 12 likes pressed. If you're joining the stream and you have something to say, or you want to talk, or you just feel like enjoying something, or you're trading crypto, whatever, make sure you press that button. It just helps the stream perform slightly better. So why not? It doesn't cost you anything. That's one. Second of all, if you're looking for a platform to trade crypto on, like I say 1,000 times a year, right? Oh, by the way, man, I was making a whole tutorial for crypto stuff earlier today. It's kind of funny how I decided to draw. But I was going to say, if you're looking for a crypto exchange to trade on, with the link down below, what you shall find is, let me quickly open up the link here myself so I can show it to you. A pretty nice freaking deal for Blowfin right now, as you basically get yourself a nice free $300 futures position for just signing up and confirming your phone and email. So, and it's again completely free, doesn't require you to do anything. It's pretty nice. And if you join the Telegram, first link in the description down below, you also get to get this promotion. So it's pretty good. Let's see here today what's pumping up, what's doing good. I might have to change the title to "We're Pumping," but of course I'm a bit skeptical. Let's see here. So today, what's up? We got over the past hour, all of a sudden, Bitcoin moving up. I might have to change the title here. Okay. Oh, Ethereum is back above 3,000. XRP back to 223. BNB almost back to $900. Solana almost back to 140. Ooh. Ethereum back above $3,000, huh? Whew, sheesh. Okay, this is starting to get really, really interesting now. Okay, this is starting to get really, really interesting. What's the final warning? I changed the title. I was going to do a video talking about the warning that, long story short, if you're sidelined right now, I completely understand. The warning was basically just about the idea that you might regret not focusing in on crypto too much before December 10th. I mean, there is a little bit of a probability that they're going to, basically price it. Oh, I'm not showing you this thing. They're going to price in the rate cut sooner or later. But remember, all the reasons as to why we were going down, almost all of them have been invalidated. Like, none of them really make a lot of sense no more. And even though I cannot guarantee the market's going to pump here and go through, things are starting to look pretty good here. Things are starting to look a little bit too good for our own good, maybe, perhaps. 89.9. Boys, I don't even feel like screaming today. I just want to quickly take a look at this in our own pace and think of a strategy depending on what the market does here. Again, is this within margin? Sure. Max pain is upwards, we know. And that would basically mean that as the price goes upwards here, a lot of people are going to get wrecked. And they're going to get wrecked hard because, well, right now you can see over the past hour, ETH shorts are getting absolutely destroyed. BTC shorts are doing bad, but not that bad. And I really hope that this is one of those days where we end up watching the market for just hours upon hours in a row. And all of a sudden, for the first time in many, many months, we see a massive, I guess last month was one of them, but a massive short liquidation spree. This, ladies and gentlemen, is really, really what I'm looking forward to. A day where just everybody shorting the market gets absolutely cooked, like from some freaking cooked salmon, just absolutely wrecked. We deserve to see it. Somebody says, what is CMC 20 index? I think what CMC has done is they made a new quote-unquote coin that represents the top 20 coins at the top or something like that. The real 2K God says, I really love Monad. Yeah, Monad has been pretty okay. I mean, not the craziest performances, but apparently here, 80% breakout since launch. That's doing good now. So that's pretty nice. Everything is starting to go up, guys. Ethereum back above $3,000. This is lovely to see. Most of my positions here probably still at a loss. What do we have on this exchange? We have Doge, Hype, Virtuals, XRP still all down. I think if I go maybe Pionex, is anything of these already back in the up? Not 100% sure. Let me quickly see what else we got. Let me quickly open this up here real quick. Over on Pionex, things are also looking pretty nice. I guess XRP back into a little bit of profit, just 10% here, about $5,000. This one, the Solana trade, in a little bit of profit right now. These are just the bots I set up a while back, and I don't really touch them no more. I've not really seen them in a while. I was opening another bot earlier today, but I forgot to click open when I was doing my tutorial. Then again, a lot of this, it's temporary that they're down for. I just say give it a little bit of time. You'll see how much up these bots will be over some time period. Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. This is nice to see, boys. This is very, very nice. Let me quickly text some things out there. Damn, I'm a bit at a loss for words, y'all. Again, did we expect this to happen? Sure. But again, what we're witnessing right now is a pretty solid pump. Going up for Bitcoin like 4% in a few hours. Or more specifically, the move here. Up 4% in 2 hours. I'm looking through on the side here on my phone, because phone is sometimes a bit easier for Twitter. Is anybody naming any specific event that's causing this? Or is it just like I said? A lot of people right now, they don't even know exactly why the crypto market has been moving down. And I, honest truth, don't really know for sure. So what is then the most logical decision? To, again, I don't want to call it bet, but then to go against the system and realize that I and we should not give into this fear. We realize there's no good reason for the market to go down. There's only one main thing I can think of, which is that it's either a manipulated effort or, I guess, on the sidelines, because the stock market has been going down. And I described that before, right? Bitcoin, NASDAQ and S&P were going down for a while, breaking away from their all-time highs. That's also the only period here recently, really, when Bitcoin all of a sudden saw some pretty crazy downwards moves. Again, let me pinpoint it to you. Ever since the end of October, right? I mean, we saw the 10th of October, this crazy day for the S&P, saw way worse of a day for the cryptos, of course. But after that, cryptos were basically broken for a while. S&P was not fully broken, but since the end of October, also around this time, basically, the Bitcoin price started to deteriorate piece by piece by piece, saying its lowest value, of course, around the same days the S&P saw it. And specifically for NASDAQ, there is some number. Let me quickly show you here. I have it on the side. Let me quickly open this up. There is some number that indicates that the NASDAQ has actually outperformed Bitcoin throughout most of the recent history. Where do we go? It's going to be probably somewhere in here. Here we go. Bitcoin has underperformed the NASDAQ on 70% of the days over the past month. The last 3 times we saw this kind of underperformance was the 2022 bear market, Grayscale's outflows of 2024, and Mt. Gox's German government sales of 2024, where the German government, by the way, sold the freaking dip. This looks like forced selling. Somebody may have blown up. And I keep realizing this. The market structure, the way in which we are going down right now, it's too severe. Don't sell into fear is now posted. On November 20th, widespread calls emerged that the AI bubble had popped. By November 21st, the S&P 500 erased $2 trillion in market cap. Today, just 3 trading days later, S&P is now up 300 points since the low, and the market cap of the S&P is now plus 600 billion higher than it was on November 20th when the AI bubble popped. Those who sold into fear are being left behind, own assets or be left behind. Guys, I'm being more and more afraid that this, and this is a scary thing, that this was the end of our dip period. Are we 100% sure? No. But I'm saying I'm getting more and more afraid that we have no new opportunity to buy the lows of the lows. And the nice thing about that is, well, back to pumping days. The bad thing is, I kind of feel as if we're going to FOMO a bit. I mean, as you can see from these positions, these are not important to me, but still, we didn't even average them out too much because I kind of expected the market to fall further based on the shenanigans going on. Let me see. Can I find more? Just texting around here, seeing if anybody has any new update on another side. Let's see here. No, so we didn't get a new Coinbase update, but nothing too particular, just something about the fact that they've got a Thanksgiving. I mean, I guess this Glassnode probably just updated their weekly report. Maybe we can check that one out. Let's see what they've got to say. No, not yet. Probably in a couple hours they'll get a report out. Let's see here. Is there anything else we can attribute to this small relief rally? I can't call it small because we're basically at the foot of $90,000. And that's again where things get a bit scary in my opinion, because that may really mean either we're getting trapped hard here like never before, all right? We're trapped. That's a possibility. Or we're back to the freaking promised lands. Oh. Let's see here. Revisiting this cycle's USDT net flow to exchanges, we find a strong negative correlation with Bitcoin's midterm performance. During euphoric phases, USDT typically flows out at 100 mil to 200 mil a day as investors lock in profits. At the $126,000 peak, net outflows reached more than $220 million, 30-day SMA, a clear profit-taking signal now easing as flows turn positive again. So I guess I'm not sure if we can derive too much from that. Perhaps we can. Net transfer volume from/to exchanges. USDT net transfer volume from/to exchanges. BTC price. USDT net volume to and from exchanges. All exchanges with 30-day SMA, I think. Can't read it too well in there. But so I guess at peak, they're talking about outflows of exchanges reaching 220 mil. So they're talking about USDT net flow to exchanges, but are they talking about USDT off-ramping or actually withdrawals into like crypto native wallets, so to speak? Because if they're withdrawing, theoretically speaking, that means they just cashed in the profits is what they're talking about. So they've already sent their coins over and they're withdrawing USDT right now. And so the more that this peaks, I guess the more that this could show. Oh, you can't see it perfectly. Here we go. So the more that this number were to peak, perhaps the more that may mean that people have sold their coins to now take in the USDT and they're withdrawing that. I mean, indeed, it does become quite apparent that every single time the Bitcoin tops, these numbers are also pretty freaking high. I guess here's one counter to where there was crazy amounts of outflows, but not actually a Bitcoin top. The top was significantly before that. I guess when the market starts peaking this much, though, it does showcase at least local tops. So that indeed may something interesting to at least consider for future reference. Okay. I guess we'll remember that for in case the market does go back up again at some point. We'll remember to look at that. Boys, I think 90,000 here may be happening here. XRP not having the best of days in comparison. I mean, still, that bottom looked pretty juicy when you look at it from the broader perspective, but Let's see here. BTC, huh? Well, do I have any chart that's more short term? We can just look at this one on the 1 minute chart here. $89.9. We're just $100 away from one of the most crucial barriers in a very, very long time for Bitcoin. And by the way, y'all, if you watch this stream right now, we've got about 250 people watching. Make sure you press that like button. We should instantly be able to get to 100 likes right now. If everybody presses this, which I don't expect, at least half of you will not feel the need to, which is okay. But if you right now watching this, press that button, we will instantly be at 100 likes. Instantly. All you got to do is if you're watching this right now, press that button if you're logged in, which should be the majority of y'all. We've already had 700 people come on by and say hi, but for some reason, people hate pressing that button. It costs too much effort. I understand, but please help me out here. We'll be very greatly appreciated, especially as we get to XRP 224, Ethereum 3030. This is again the 1 minute chart, not to do any analysis on, but just to take a look at for prices, just for fun. $100 away for BTC. XRP, there's no real close by level we're that interested in for XRP. Hey, by the way, you see what I meant? Instantly 100 likes. Bam. Right? I told you. People just don't really feel like it because like, But then if I ask, you see how much it changes, right? That's why I always like to ask, because it helps the stream perform a little bit better, I hope. Anyway, so 223 for XRP. BTC still $100-ish away. Ethereum back above 3K. I mean, the most important hurdle here has been overtaken. And now it feels like it's go time. By the way, if you're looking for a platform to trade on, link down below to Bluffin. I've linked it in the chat box. You can take a look at that. Woo! Okay. And I guess the S&P here, let's quickly see how... Wrong chart. How's that coming along? Down ever so slightly since I just took a look at it, but still getting closer and closer towards that all-time high. How's the NASDAQ looking? Getting closer and closer towards that all-time high. Things right now are getting really, really, really good in a scary fashion. I mean, we still got 3 hours before these markets close, but okay. I almost want to FOMO buy even more NASDAQ and stuff. All right, let's do a little bit of a roll call. We're waiting here anyway. So I have more information to talk about, by the way. Like, I had a full plan for this stream, but honest truth, I kind of got caught off guard because the main subject would be this. Maybe the thumbnail still shows it. It was going to be a final warning about not hopping on board right here. That is, again, not expecting the price to all of a sudden go for such a pump. The idea was, it's right now only about 2 and a bit weeks until the Federal Reserve interest rate cut, right? There's no real reason anymore for the price to go down. Take that risk because it could be so that this is the moment where things reverse. Now, again, does today's price action here change anything? Really, no. It just makes it slightly riskier, our whole thesis. Why? Because the higher the price goes, the riskier every single dip opportunity gets, right? At $80,000 a BTC, obviously we're in way better of a position to try our luck than at 89. And again, the whole situation still remains the same. We are not at that cheap a price. We may have not seen the bottom of this thing. It may very well be so that we get trapped in here just to be smacked down. And that's also why I said, normally, when the market's really, really good, I try to really buy these new resistances that are now being conquered and turned into supports. When the market fell as much as it did just now, based on no real good reason, we are expecting that some major investors, some major players, they got forced out, so to speak, or we can call this the most craziest of craziest manipulation months, where on the 10th of the 10th, some coordinated efforts caught us by surprise, and a lot of the, let's call it participants that normally, let's call them market makers here actually for short, have not joined back into the specific game. A lot of people on the institutional side as well have not touched anything because of that mass liquidation event. Remember, wiping out like $20 billion worth of positions in a day leaves a lot of people with PTSD, leaves a lot of people with a sour taste in their mouth, and even me myself. I normally trade very significant amounts every single day. And all of a sudden, for 1 month, I took an entire break, right? I didn't really touch almost anything. I didn't open new positions. I didn't do nada. Then I got to think about it from the fund perspective. A lot of the funds that I usually am in contact with, a lot of them are not deploying or doing anything for a while until the market recovers. It's very well possible that that day, the 10th of the 10th, broke something, right? And basically led it for the manipulators to have an easier time because way less money, way less moves in the market. I can see it as well from our trading team. I told you before, right? On Blowfin or on 𝗵𝗠𝗃, we always have a team so that we can do cool competitions and beat others, hopefully, with some of the best traders out there. 90% at least less activity. People are not doing anything right now because they're afraid and because they're uncertain of what the next direction is going to be. Bear market, altcoin season, they are unsure. And so when I talk about these prices here and I talk about what we think is next, it is always from the perspective that everything is possible, but all we got to do is set ourselves in a good spot for in case the market hits something really sketchy, right? And that is, again, with specific buy orders like I told you guys about before. And, of course, also make sure we're not FOMOing into tops if the market all of a sudden turns back around. And that we, of course, always have some allocation and some exposure in case the market does go back up, which is why I always like to... Ooh, I thought all of a sudden we're going to go for it. Is why I always like to at least have some positions open. And again, sometimes they're way crazier than other times. And like I said before, I can actually open a way crazier XRP trade here as well. It's $1 million worth of a long, sure. In the grand scheme of things, it is not that crazy, right? We can go way riskier, way crazier. But you saw what happened before, right? I opened another, I think, $1 or $2 million worth of XRP positions. Where are they now? All gone. So we lost a couple $100,000, a couple $1 million with that recently. Why? Because the market... $90,000 in BTC, guys. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Hey, congratulations to every single one of you. This is the beauty of the markets, baby. All right. All right. All right. This is good. This is very, very good. This is really, really, really good. Eavesdrop says, by the way, why can't I still watch the YouTube videos in the background when I'm doing something else on my phone? Brother, if you're not locked in, YouTube is punishing you right now. It tells you to not stay away for 1 second with your eyes from the screen. All right? If you're not let me put on the watch here. If you're not zoned in, that's blasphemous. How dare you even say that in my chat right now? That you want to do something else on your phone. I want to slap the crap out of you for saying that to me right here. You crazy, bro? Come on. Who do you think? Ridiculous. Anyway, Solana back at 141. Holy shit. I can't see my trades. You got a good point. Never mind. You caught me there, buddy. Hey, you win this one. You win this one. You've got a very solid point right there, my friend. You know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. How many shorts are getting wrecked right now? I want to see the freaking tears. I want to freaking slurp those tears up. Well, not too much, actually. Only 200 M's? Yeah. I mean, it's good, but I prefer to see more. Act says, I sold last week. So this is one of the funniest things. This is also, my boys, I'm going to tell you one thing. If you are ever selling at a loss and you are selling a dip, I'm going to laugh forever. It doesn't matter if you make profit. I'm going to laugh forever because that's ridiculously funny. If you're selling in profit and you're looking for another buying opportunity, something like that, hey, that's all good. That's all good. I'll respect it. And if you accidentally sold too low because the price all of a sudden starts pumping from there, hey, you know what? That's sometimes unlucky. You might have to buy into the higher price. But then you got to start thinking about it in dollar terms, not coin terms. And somebody just says here, I shorted at 89,950. So somebody's shorting 90K at BTC. You know, real talk, not that crazy of a strategy here because the probability of breaking through 90 and actually staying above there is quite small here. We need some new impulse, right? I don't have the balls that you do. You know, some people have steel ones. Some people have like scroungy ones. Some people have normal ones. Whoa, 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 whoa. Somebody's telling me now the Fed chair, the new Fed chair got leaked and it's causing the price to pump like crazy. Let's see here. JP Morgan says the S&P 500 could reach 8,000 in 2026. Cool, cool, cool. White House says tax refunds in 2026 are projected to be the largest ever. $5 trillion JP Morgan says crypto is emerging as a tradable macro asset. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Don't forget, U.S. markets will be closed Thursday for Thanksgiving and will close early on Friday. So today is the last full day of trading ahead of the week. Wait a minute, markets are closed tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is Thursday. Man, my freaking memory is a freaking goldfish. Today's Thursday, meaning tomorrow markets closed. Friday markets only open for a bit. So this is the trading of the week, huh? Okay, that's interesting. Texas buying Bitcoin. Okay, there's a new announcement by Arkham that Texas is now the first state to hold Bitcoin in their balance sheet, and they committed to buying $10 million worth, right? Well, apparently they just bought $5 million via iBit. That was 40 minutes ago, but I don't think that's that big a deal. Let's see here. Man, most of my friends are still talking about Bitcoin going so much lower. It is sometimes not good for the brain to have people that trade for a living. Here's, for example, my friend Chento here saying, well, Bitcoin. And he's talking about Bitcoin getting magneted up all the way towards about 95K or so before getting smacked in the face again when we go all the way towards like $70,000 or $60,000 a BTC. This always leaves a sour taste in your mouth, huh? Looking at prices that low. Bitcoin, by the way, is up 12% from the lows earlier this week. That's pretty solid. Whoever was shorting just now at 90K, I hope you're doing okay, brother. Let's see here. I'm looking through to see if anybody else is posting any sort of news that could cause this. And I have scrolled at least a few hundred tweets right now. Nobody knows any proper reason. There's only one guy that's saying, no, it's the Fed chair that got leaked. But I don't think that, I think that's okay, wait, no, but this is like yesterday's news, right? So I'll share it with you here. Give me a second to pull it up. Also, people who are hopping in just now into the stream may actually think I'm freaking so stupid. How can I be $81,000 down? This was minus $540,000 like last month. So if you think this is bad, it's not. And I guess all my accounts are already wrecked back to zero anyway. So, you know, to at least have $1 million trade open here still, to me, is kind of cool. Because if the market does turn back around, at least we can make some dollars back. Let me see. Fed chair. Jump it like that. Hopefully, I can find it on the website as well, like this. Well, not as beautiful. Regardless, right now it's being said that 𝗕𝗏𝗂𝗃 is now leading candidate to replace Powell as Fed chair. Came out yet. Well, I mean, I saw this yesterday for the most part. But I guess maybe something new popped up just now? No, this is all from yesterday. No, nothing new came up. For information, Hassett has served on Coinbase's advisory council. If he takes the chair, we're looking at a Fed that's not only going to be friendly towards digital assets, but someone who's going to cut interest rates down to 1%. And I countered that by saying, we also thought Gary Gensler coming into crypto was going to be good, and then we got smacked in the face for that. So I'm never saying that again. But sure, I like the thinking process. Oh, 90.2. There we go, boys. All right, let's see here real quick. Roll call. First of all, where's everybody watching from in the chat today? Who do we got today? If you're watching from a country, you better let me know in the chat box right now where you're watching from. Also, how's your portfolios doing? This is question number 2. Are we doing okay again? Are we still doing terribly bad? I mean, I'm doing terribly bad. That's for sure. But it doesn't take that long for us to recover if the market actually turns back around. All right, we got Alberta, Canada. We got Slovenia. Nice. Canada. Greece, 2 big paws. Welcome back. UK, US, they flipped it, y'all. I had a dream last night. BTC was 145 for Christmas. Go back to sleep, brother. Enjoy those good times because that's not right here. Paraguay. But do we have the momentum on BTC? Well, I mean, we're up 12% throughout the week. UK, Netherlands, not me joining him with the chant. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We're pumping, boys. You know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. I can finally get back to my addictions, guys. This is amazing. Oh, my days. This is so good. Once I'm out of this XRP hellhole, right, and we're back to at least $500,000 worth of profit on this trade, I can finally get back to being an addict. Oh, this is so nice if you think about it, right? Oh. I'm not addicted to something bad, by the way. That's not it. But gotta make some schmeckles to feed my addictions, brothers. Oh, this is good. I'm having like a casual bark right there. Oh, this is so amazing. We're finally seeing some positivity again in this crypto market filled with freaking darkness. Oh, my lads. No, it's not snow, brother. Are you crazy? No. I've been in this crypto market too long to be addicted to any of that, man. I would have already killed my too long ago. No. Nothing like that, my brothers and sisters. Oh. You know, hey, I'm going to be honest with you here. A market like this, that little long button, that button that says buy now, even though you know the market's right now just ripping it, that button that says buy here, buy now, there's almost nothing in the world that looks juicier than buying Solana right here because you're trying to buy into the pump. My brothers, I don't want to be that guy, but this buy button it's hunting me, all right? It's grabbing me in. I'm not sure how it's doing that, but it makes me want to freaking FOMO buy so freaking bad. Oh my God. I'm not doing any of this. But I mean, maybe a couple $1,000s, right? That wouldn't hurt me, right? A couple $1,000s worth of a long. That should be okay, right? Nobody's going to notice if I just buy a couple $1,000s. It's just a couple thousand. Oh, this is me. That's my addiction right there. Buying these freaking coins like there's no tomorrow. And a few other ones. But that's at least the main one that's at least being apparent right now. I'm glad about the dippity dip. And I'm also aware that every single time I want to go a bit crazy on trying to buy the reversal, it smacks me in the face and I should stick to just buying the dip of the dip and not do anything else. But still, I'm going to just buy a couple $1,000s worth just for fun. All right, I need it. Also, I recently did a new thing, and this is what I never really do. But what I recently decided to do is actually, and you can call me stupid for this, it's buy more Bitcoin on spot. Like recently, I was selling off all my XRP, all my BTC to fund more bots and more things. And I realized, you know what? It's actually just nice to have a certain stash of BTC. What they always say is, all you need is about 100 Bitcoin and you're safe forever. And then you realize 100 Bitcoin is freaking $9 million. Let's put that number down a little bit. I think all people need is about 0 point something Bitcoin, probably like 0.1 plus. Maybe eventually though like 1 Bitcoin, but that's like already pushing it for like for what is necessary to basically, let's say, live off of. And the reason I'm saying 0.1 is because I'm thinking a longer term scope. But if we're being realistic, right? I also don't want to be that guy that says, oh, you need 0.004. You know, you need like a couple $100s or something like that. Because let's be realistic. You can make a lot of money off of $400. Man, this whole journey in crypto here started because somebody gave me a freaking giveaway of 0.01 Bitcoin. which was nothing at the time. What, like $10 or something like that. However, I'll counter all that by saying it's so much easier the more money you have. Honest truth be told right there. And if you got, let's say, 0.1 BTC, we're talking like 9,000. Yeah, you could get a long way for actually retiring over time with not too much effort. But if you got 90,000, which again is still very far down from having retirement money or never work again in your life money, you know, it is, again, doable. I can see a very easy future without that much work where that can be achieved. Dusty, what is your net wealth? You know what I always say. Don't worry about what another man has in his pockets, all right? That's not something you should be concerning yourself with. Think about your pockets alone. That's the only ones that matter. Maybe your wife or your husband in that sense. Maybe your kids. I don't know. But another man, all right? You're looking at another man and thinking, how much money shall this man have in his pockets? Why does that matter to you? What do you gain from knowing? Think about that for a good second. Let's say now, you know exactly how many schmeckles, how many $1 bills I can fit in my pocket right there, right? Because of the amount I have. Well, this is $2. $1 bills I can fit in my pocket. What is that going to do for you, my brother? Please enlighten me on that. I have no idea, which is why I always say, never worry about another man's pocket. It's a bit strange for you to do that, right? Especially if you're a grown man or woman in that sense. Focus on building your own. Also, comparison is the thief of joy. I've had the same, all right? I remember not that long ago, actually, really. The year's starting to fly so fast. Where, this is a real little insider story here. You know, we're going to sit down for that. I know a lot of people with a lot of money. And this is also, let's say, maybe 7 years ago, maybe 5, I don't remember. It's a few years ago. Let's say 5, 7 years ago. This is the first time where I got into more, let's call it, serious money circles. I've already been doing well for, I'm going to say, since 2017. So I'm going to say about, 8 years? But there's different levels to well, huh? And so about, it's 7 years, I guess, that I came in contact with some cool people. But I think this is like 5 or 6 years ago that I first got into contact with people who you have no idea how good they're doing, right? You wouldn't see it off of anything. They don't really post flashy or whatnot. They post. They're actually content creators too. But I never really knew how good people were doing. And when this person just started casually talking about losing $100 million, you know, it's like a laughable thing. And I didn't really think about it too much at that until a couple weeks, actually days and weeks and months went by. And it really started to dawn in my brain how much this guy should then have in order to be able to lose $100 million. And then it started to get to me like, ooh, you know, if this man is so young and has so much money, it's over for me, basically, right? Or, oh, it's this, that, and that, and that. Then I realized if he was able to make it, especially by such a young age, that means, theoretically speaking, right, nothing should stop you from getting somewhere close to that. Maybe not the same, but nothing should stop you from getting at least to 1/10 of whatever he had. If he had, for example, $400 million, you know, you should be able to get at least 1/10 of his value, right? If, again, he did not inherit everything. You know, and this is always my fun thing as well. If another freaking random-ass person from middle of Africa, middle of India, middle of China can make it to the top of the top, become a freaking billionaire, which a lot of people have probably done throughout time, then nothing's stopping you from achieving at least 1/100th of that, right? You get into 10 mil, it should almost always be achievable. Maybe hard, maybe really a strange road, but achievable nonetheless. If the wants, if the situation could be able to. I'm not talking about getting to the same level. I'm talking about 1/100th of whatever he was able to get to. And when I say it like that, a lot of people often get, because there's not a logical path. I'm telling you right now, 9 out of 10 people that made a lot of money didn't expect them to do so well 5 years prior. And matter of fact, even if you ask me 10 years ago, did I know I would become better or rich or whatever? I always thought so, yeah, sure. But really, if you're asking me the way, I would have never been able to know because I didn't expect crypto to pop off this much. I didn't expect all these different things, you know? So in that sense, maybe you don't even know today yet what's going to be your next big thing. It could literally be so. You're only focused on Bitcoin and you're doing really, really well. And all of a sudden you find an edge and all of a sudden you're able to trade this and become one of the best traders to ever do it. It's possible. Never say it's not. Or another angle, you actually focus mostly on BTC. You decide to go into alts. You actually get lucky like I've had before. I've had some of the coins turn to 800x or a few thousand x on little money. But still, also, I've made $1 million publicly. It's actually more than that. But let's just say $1 million publicly off of one coin, right? Remember that when you put an 800x? And it's significantly more when you really start breaking down the numbers because it's an 800x on a proper investment of mine. If you guys don't remember, it's a Nosana. And the fun story there, which I always think of, is I thought I've written it off as zero. I never look back at it. Then a few years later, I look, and all of a sudden, boom, you've got a lot of money sitting somewhere. And that made me realize as well, sometimes you just have no idea where all of a sudden your gift is going to come from. I look back at 𝗓𝗓𝗏, which turned to 𝗂𝗓. I again thought it was going to go to zero. All of a sudden became a massive crypto project. Same for a lot of other coins as well. XRP, maybe you bought in 2020 when it was like 10 cents. You hated it because it didn't really go up much. You wrote it off, and all of a sudden you log back in, it's $3.60. These things can all happen. To get back to the story of before, though, I always say comparison is the thief of joy. If you look at another man's pockets, you sometimes get inspired, but most of the time you just think, damn, and you think maybe something negative of it. I always think if you're not able to turn whatever somebody else has, even if you don't know the exact amount, as a positive motivator for yourself, things are going to potentially get quite tough. But, you know, I always see whatever my friends are able to get, whatever my even enemies, whom I don't have, but let's just say I did, have as motivation to just work harder, or, you know, just showcasing, I guess, that whatever you want is probably possible. Long philosophical talk, but I think sometimes it's necessary in this money world that we're in. Stefan says, I bought my coins right after, here we go. Right after FTX crashed. I'm still holding and loving my bags. I'm happy for you, my brother. I'm happy you were able to buy in such a good pace, or a good place. What do you think about Monad is doing? You know, the thing is, I think Monad on its own, real talk, is actually a bit garbage. Now, I have Monad, and I do kind of wish the best for them because I'm biased, but I would not necessarily go out and buy it. I mean, I saw Arthur Hayes' post just yesterday, which was, another layer one, another VC fund looking at you for exit liquidity. So I'm buying it because why not? Everything seems to pump in that direction. And I respond to that by saying yes, right? It's really, really stupid to buy Monad on the public markets. But then again, all those projects seem to do pretty well once they launch. So from that angle, I don't think it's a bad idea necessarily to get into it. Personal thoughts on that. Let's see here. Anything new coming out? Let me check. I like this post. Me in 2013 building a Clash of Clans base instead of buying NVIDIA. Such is life, huh? Such is life. Anyway, are we seeing any new crazy shorts getting wrecked? I mean, it's still 220 mil. Over the past hour, 100 mil. That number does do me a bit well, because 100 mil worth of shorts got wrecked and only 2 mil worth of longs. It does spark the question, who is crazy enough to get their longs liquidated on such a small margin? Like, what type of leverage is this? What in the leverage is this? How did they get wrecked on a permanently moving up market? I do not yet know how you get your longs wrecked in this, but still, a few $1 million got wrecked, which shows you again, money is flowing everywhere, man. It's like incredible. The amount of money that's flowing around in this crypto space, of people using their free will to the best of their ability, it's kind of funny to me every now and then. A little hourly reminder, or half hourly reminder. If you're watching this stream right now, you're one of the 350 people watching, make sure you press that like button. The reason I'm saying that is because out of the 1,400 people that have stopped by, as long as there's 340 people watching right now, that we should be always at like at least a number close to the amount of viewers, because again, a lot of those people are new. If you've not pressed that button yet, right now is your best time to do so. Matter of fact, right now is your best time to do so. Matter of fact, right now is your best time to do so. If you've still not done it yet, you watching this right now, please press that button. It makes the stream perform a little bit better, and it puts, I wanted to make a joke, but I should not say that. Never mind. If you don't want to press that button, it's okay. I was going to say something really dark, but sometimes I realize I'm going to put $1 back in my pocket here. You know what's also really funny? And this is starting to happen to me more and more as I grow up to be a proper adult. Finding money in pockets. I never knew that this was such a big thing, but especially if you at least have a little bit of cash. I'm not talking about thousands of schmeckles. I'm talking about a little bit. It's always funny now if you grab some pants, grab a jacket, and there's a little bit of money inside of it. Like these little gifts, right? Or for my crypto people out there, I had this all the time too. You look at old wallets and you realize, hey, there's still some money there. Hey, there's still some money there. And you may not find this relevant, but for me, I've got hundreds upon hundreds, probably over 1,000 wallets. So a lot of them you don't check up on for probably a year or 5. There's a lot of wallets I've not checked out in probably like 8 years. And so when I sometimes get back to them, or I open an old computer or old laptop, I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Many of them don't have much money, but sometimes you still get a nice, cool little gift for just forgetting. All right. Somebody said, or Sean says, when someone asks how much money I have, I pull my pockets out so they look like ears, and I tell them to kiss the rabbit between the ears. You're asking them to kiss your dick? Is that what you're telling me right now? So somebody in the street or somebody comes up to you and asks you, hey, how much money do you have? And you tell them to give you a kiss on the dick first before you tell them, or is that what I'm supposed to get out of that, or? Is it like, does that imply you have such incredible amounts of money they should be shucking you off on the spot? Anyway, moving on. All right. As we continue on with this crypto native talk discussion. Yes, important words, money. So as we continue on talking about these crypto prices, how are things doing over here? Well, XRP bot looking pretty juicy. Solana bot, which was at a loss for most of the duration, actually doing pretty okay as well. The main bot stack, which was negative for a while, has all of a sudden flipped back into positive. You can't see it perfectly, but I mean, let me just tell you that it is. It's back into positive, so that is nice. Ever so slightly, but still nice nonetheless. Trend P&L is still down tremendously, but give it some time. Fun fact, I even thought about reinvesting these grid profits back in at lower prices because, well, you can see we're down 40% or something like that. It would be nice, perhaps. But then I realized if I, right now, compound this or put it back in, relatively, it's not going to do too much because it's going to take away this Trend P&L. So I'm going to have to withdraw it and then invest it. Yeah. Which I didn't really like too much as a concept. It looks cooler if it's on top and have the Trend P&L be, high still. Regardless of all that, interesting day regardless. I do wonder. There's nothing causing this pump, ladies and gents. Like, all the news I've found here is not specific to just now. When people ask me if my Rolex is real, I always say you wouldn't have the class to know the difference anyway. Well, I mean, I've got a lot of Rolexes, and I actually cannot see the difference between a real and a fake one. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if it's really a really cheapy one, sure. But how often do you grab somebody's wrist and you start looking at all the details of something, right? Even for this watch, I'm going to be honest with you. It could, realistically, right? I know exactly how much I paid. I know my guy's trustworthy in that sense. But realistically, even if it... Why is it not focusing in on that? It's focusing on my hand. Right? Even if this were to be fake, how are you going to know? I can't even know. And I'm wearing it every now and then. Isn't it obvious with the movement? What? By listening? By turning it? I don't know. It's not that obvious, brother. I mean, these people, they've done a lot of work to perfecting their craft, I'm going to guess. Then again, maybe it is obvious. I just don't know. You think you could see, right? But that's the thing. Maybe you think it's easy to spot, and it turns out not to be. But there have been many ones that are so obviously fake. It just depends. And the movement, again, we're talking about sound, because you're talking now about it being a freaking battery movement, or you say it doesn't tick, it glides smoothly, secondhand. Brother, now you're talking about cheap fakes. There's a difference between a $100,000 watch and a $5,000 watch. You can make a $5,000 watch look like a $100,000 watch, if you get my drift. It doesn't necessarily have to be $7 off of AliExpress. You're talking now as if fake is, by definition, going to be at the lower segment. But the fake one could still be maybe $2,000-$3,000, maybe $5,000. Dusty, you're the UK's #1 gay icon. We love you. kind of caught me off guard. What? Imagine if this is like a big thing, right? Imagine you go to a certain country and you realize you're actually an icon in a completely different thing. In this case, I don't actually know what a gay icon is. I'm not gonna lie to you. But imagine I show up in the UK. All of a sudden, somebody recognizes me. It's like, hey, man, you're actually this and that. That would be pretty interesting, eh? Well, let's just hope that you were joking and that there's not a crazy meme going around, because that would be way worse, I guess. I mean, nothing too bad on that, but I'm going to say I don't think so. All right? I don't think that's possible. I'm going to respectfully decline this one. All right? I'm going to respectfully decline this one and give it to somebody else. All right, regardless, movement, nothing too fancy. I guess the What do you guys mean you didn't know? Hey, whoa. Let's take a step back. All right, let's take a step back here. All right, what's happening here? All right, there's nothing of this sort. All right, let's not trust the Mr. Man here. All right, who's calling me an icon in this section. All right, we've got nothing to do with that. Let's put first things first. Again, I'll take the compliment, but you know, let's you know what? Let's leave this topic for what it is. All right, it's getting a bit too hot under the feet here. All right, I'm getting a bit too stressed out over the situation. Anyway, I'm comfortable with myself. I think we're okay. Yeah, so Bitcoin refusing to break through $90,000. I had such an interesting video planned out, such an interesting thought process, but all of a sudden, it's getting a bit iffy-wiffy with the S&P over the past minutes here going down tremendously, not leaving Bitcoin any room to also continue higher above 90,000. NASDAQ actually is looking pretty good, but the problem is NASDAQ has about a 15-minute delay, all right, this NASDAQ index, so you can't fully see everything. And all the news I was going to cover was actually mostly just hypothetical, talking about, like I said before, the idea that as December 10th gets closer, there's a very high probability there's a very high probability that the market's going to price that in, right? But if the S&P and NASDAQ keep pumping up, it's significantly easier all anyway. Hey, by the way, if you guys go on a plane flight, I was going to say plane ride, but you don't say that, right, in English? I don't know. Do you guys are you able to just easily sleep? Do you take sleep tablets, sleep powder, something like that? I asked my friends, and a lot of people take sleep powder or sleep supplements specifically for the plane. I always just raw dog it. Like, you just try your best to lay down and sleep properly. But the only time I'm able to sleep is if it's like a 12-hour flight, 14-hour flight, or recently I had 17 hours, I think, with a stop in the middle. But it doesn't matter what class I'm in, right? Even at first, I can't sleep well. It's not my thing. Horse tranquilizer. Okay, so the number one tip she's giving me now is ketamine, maybe. Okay, I can think about that. Or maybe another tranquilizer. I'm a raw dogger. Hey, takes one to know one, brother. 11-hour Air China economy flight, you've got no chance. Brother, if you're amongst the freaking, I don't know how it is, but every single time I go to China or Philippines or stuff like that, 3 minutes in to the plane, not plane flight, I'm talking 3 minutes into the plane, and people are pulling this one. I don't know how. They're like, this is the neck situation there. I don't know how they do that within 3 minutes of sitting down somewhere. All right, I don't know, but maybe it's like an East Asian type of thing, a skill I've yet to acquire, all right, to sleep like this with a full thingy like that. But also when I went to freaking South America, I think maybe Mexico or something like that, man, people are also able to sleep in the most weird of positions. All right, I saw a man sleep in a position that should not be able to sleep in. I have no idea how he did it, and I'm not able to replicate it either. But he was sleeping like a freaking... sheesh, right? I guess maybe he's tired from, I don't know what he's tired from. I was going to say working in the freaking mines, but I think we were going to Mexico. We didn't come from Mexico. Nor do I think that he would straight go. I mean, looked really clean and normal, actually. So I was just making a little joke. But yeah, no, it doesn't matter what I've done. I've never been able to sleep properly in a plane. I guess what makes me sleep is just the silence of my accounts hitting zero. I guess that does me pretty well. I'm thinking about it. Anything else? No. That's actually a fun fact. You know that the most calm of periods in crypto could actually be when your account goes to absolute zero, because only at that point can you not lose anything no more. It's sad, but it's kind of true. And again, I should add, I sleep very well in all days of my life, almost all. It's only planes that just, they have something in there. It's not the sound. I don't care. I have a headset on, everything. It's just caramel and some C into hot coffee and some leaves. Leave LA, wake up when I'm landing in Boston. But that's how long is Boston to LA? It's like 5 hours? It seems pretty far still. Bobby says, we are all prospects of a raw dogger. Never forget. Sure. Half a bottle of Valium, all right. It's melatonin. I always think, when somebody says melatonin, I always in my head think, there must have been such funny discussions where somebody was saying melanin and the other person was talking about melatonin, and they just couldn't get straight into the discussion. Like, what do you mean melanin? I'm talking melatonin. Yes, I'm saying melanin, right? No, but that's really funny to me. Somebody says back on our 90K. Well, yeah, I mean, we're bouncing on that. All right, we're bouncing on that with supreme accuracy. Comfy strokes, just comfortable 50K, comfortable bounces, easy. It's the subconscious thought of waking up, screaming on a plane, dropping that keep you awake. I don't have that problem, brother. I don't know. I'm not that panicky of a guy. It's the subconscious thought of waking up to screaming and a plane dropping that'll keep you awake. No, I've never had that thought in the back of my head, to be honest with you. Anyway, roll call. We always do it every once an hour or something like that. We've been streaming for 1 hour right now. If you're watching the stream, right, we've got about 300 people in here. Just quickly say, yep. Even if you're driving your truck, let go of both hands to type this message even faster. It doesn't matter what the consequences are, right? Typing a message is way more important. Let me know in the chat box if you watch this stream right now, right? This gives you nothing. There's no result except for just showing who is actually in here lurking. And I don't request you to type more than once. It's just to quickly show who's actually here lurking secretly, silently, observing, without talking. When you say it like that, it's a bit creepy for some of y'all. Right, you're just watching the whole time, not saying anything. Like, imagine somebody doing that in your house, right? Or somebody doing that in the neighborhood, really. In a store, matter of fact, too. If I'm going somewhere and somebody's just watching me without saying anything, I always get a bit sketched out. When I'm thinking about it like that, you know, you guys, some of y'all are a little bit weird. But I don't mind, all right? All the weird ones are also appreciated here. All of you guys that are just lurkers, I'm going to call you, just watchers, right? The non-verbal ones. You're always welcome in my chat box. All right, our chat box, you should call it, because you're always welcome here. Did the markets just close? No, my brother. The markets close in about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Keyboard chicken will, but hair on your chest. Right. Flying high on ground level. Yep. Houston, Texas. Yep. 200 likes. Yep. We received 200 likes. That is amazing. That's good. Off topic, what are some good AI projects? Well, if you're talking about stocks or cryptocurrency there, because my analyst came in yesterday talking about some of his favorite AI stocks or tech stocks, including AI also. Okay. But AI cryptos, all of them are garbage right now. I'm going to be honest with you. Somebody says, President, driving 250. Brother, I hope for the sake of everybody that you're joking. All right. You know what? Let's not look at all the people who've passed away from driving too fast. We're just going to continue on. We're just going to look at our, I guess, crashing in the crypto market as we are down again 1% over the past 15 minutes. Why? I'm going to guess that it's just from the S&P also making a little move downwards again, back to almost near my entry. However, regardless of that, we still, remember this. This is the last few hours of the S&P trading. And it could actually be that we're getting a pretty good result in just before the weekend, because tomorrow stock market closed, which leads me to remember. By the way, two things. I'm getting scatterbrained right now. One, if you're not yet subscribed, I stream on this channel every single day talking about the crypto markets and hopefully about the massive amounts of profit we shall make. Now today, we stay still, all right, maybe looking quite negative. You may look at this and think, Dusty, you're a freaking moron, and I accept it. Two things. One, if you're getting into this, you're getting a better average price than me. That's one. That's one thing that's pretty nice. That's one. Second, just wait, you kid, all right? Wait. I've been able to flip this into crazier numbers before. Just wait, right? Give it a little bit of time, honey. Number three, if you're not yet subscribed, I stream every single day. But for some reason, we lose subscribers every single day because the market is red. This is something a lot of y'all don't know. People, they don't like crypto markets going down. And here's the kicker. Use that panic, use that fear, embrace it, and realize that where a lot of people are giving up tends to be the best of opportunities, almost always. Sure, it may not be nice at the start, but just know where you're headed to eventually, and it should reward you pretty nicely. Somebody else in the chat said before he was shorting BTC at 90,000, and he's up 30% right now. That is pretty interesting. And like I said, today markets closing normal time. Tomorrow markets are closed, and the day after markets close early again on Friday. Yeah. Let's see. MJ says, hey, I still press the like button. You're still pressing it right now? What do you mean? But appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. And yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit of an interesting pump here. We kind of came back down. The story still stays the same, though. And again, I will have to make another video later today talking about that specific story, probably, because I kind of got caught off guard by the markets all of a sudden having such a massive pump. But the story was as follows. If you're selling your coins right now, think about it logically. Who are you selling it to and why? You're selling it into the idea that no rate cuts are going to be coming no more, or what? I can't think of any good reason to sell my coins at this low a price no more. If I wanted to sell, I should have done that at the 100. Well, let's quickly see here. If I wanted to sell, I should have probably done that at least in the $110,000 plus range. In this case here, even though we're neutral or in fair value zone, and theoretically speaking, we are indecisive as to whether to buy or sell. We can buy wherever, we can sell wherever when it makes us profit, with again the major buy starting at around $83,000 minus. I will again admit, and this is a crucial piece here, that I still have a inherent bias to buy for every single dollar it is below 110,000 or below a 100% extension of the 200 moving average. And the main reason that's the case is because I think this industry is going to the right and up. So on the right, meaning it will pass time, it will stay, and upwards on terms of price. So whenever it is neutral and I don't necessarily should not necessarily have a bias, I have a buying bias, or I have a, the markets will most likely move upwards bias unless somebody's heavily indicating that we're going down. Now, indicating that we're going down, I'm not basing it solely on price action. Matter of fact, I'm basing it mostly on let's call it the news events, not sentiment either. Sentiment will basically mean that we're basically know what people think is going to happen, which right now would also be down. But I'm going to say that what Rand said a few days ago is very accurate. Let me quickly see if I can pinpoint it here again. I should be able to find it. Give me a few seconds. I have 200 tabs open, but I can find my things pretty nicely. Usually when sentiment is disconnected from data, it's the sentiment that catches up to the data, not the other way around. Meaning, if all the people think we're going down and they say that they're negative, but the market's moving up, usually the people just change their mind because they're stupid. And how does that story fit in? Well, I think if we're talking news announcements or things of that sort, it does make a lot of sense. By the way, we're moving back up. It does make a lot of sense for us to potentially be scared or change our bias. But just sentiments or just based on the fact that we had a massive crash, which again, I think was bullshit. I think was a manipulated move. No, I do not change my bias for that. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. Here's the kicker. Like I said 1,000 times to y'all. Right now, 90,000 of BTC. It's still relatively cheap in the grand scheme of things. Short term, you may think it's expensive. I get that. But relatively, it is quite cheap. And also, I'm a little whiny ass because I'm even thinking here, again, call me stupid, but something in me is just making me buy even more at $90,000 of BTC, even though we could have bought at way, way, way lower. Why is that? Just stupidity, I guess. Something along those lines. Just something mentally wrong in my brain. That's literally the only thing I can think of here that's causing this to happen. I have literally some deficiency in my brain that's causing me to buy tops. But the nice thing is, thus far, it's always rewarded me because we've always been right. But I can't guarantee that will always be the case. I'm not even, like, there's other coins that I feel like buying, like Solana and XRP and all that stuff. I'm not doing that too much because I feel as if it's Bitcoin right now or nothing. And once a lot of these coins prove themselves, I want to get back into them. Then again, the counter will be Solana is right now at 140. It is relatively so cheap to where we've been trading at for a long time. It's corrected so much more than others. I should probably focus on scooping those up, right, rather than others. But yeah. Anyway, I'll remind y'all again, if you're watching this stream right now and you're looking for a platform to trade on, the first link in the description down below is 𝗏𝗏, which is the platform I'm trading on for the most part. Again, we're also making some good losses on, but still, it's a platform I love for trading cryptocurrencies. And I'm looking around, still no real thing that anybody has indicated causing this market move upwards. So it's just, I guess, what we call the market being the market, baby. All right, and I call it manipulated efforts. I will keep talking about how a lot of the stuff happening right here, it don't make sense, but it never was necessarily meant to make sense. All right, they want you to sell at the lowest of lows, and they're going to keep doing it time and time and time again until at some point you realize to not do it no more, but I don't think people do that. Oh, more and more accounts I'm seeing right now posting about their massive shorts. I see somebody here. Is this BS or is this real? Let me open it up for y'all. Somebody here just posting a 200. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, never mind. I thought it was something juicy. Never mind. It's a $200,000 Monad short. It's a $500,000 ETH short. I thought it was a $200 million, or actually a $500 million ETH short. I thought it was doing something juicy there, but he was not. Unfortunately. Nothing cool there. And hey, we've got another update for later tonight. So this is Glassnode. They give an update on the markets every single week. This newest update just got posted about probably between now and 30 minutes ago. I'm going to cover it in today's video later. I'm going to have to read it first, but I don't feel like doing that right now because obviously it's a little bit of a longer report. It takes a little bit of time to talk about and get myself through, but I shall do that for y'all, all right? I'll get that. And it's not really stream worthy because if I don't know what's inside of it, it's going to take like an hour to cover on stream. Whereas I could also just read it through, talk it through with my analyst, and then get back to you with whatever we can fetch from this because, well, it's nice data that if you did not have this report, you might have to pay a lot of money for. So I'll get that out probably to you guys later tonight as well, depending on what happens. If the market does something even crazier, we'll be back with another stream, as you guys know it. But I kind of hope here that the market just kind of calms down, gets itself a daily candle above 90,000, but doesn't do anything too crazy, so I don't have to FOMO, so I don't have to sit here again the whole night talking about the crypto markets. You know, just a little bit of peace. That would be nice, a little bit of peace. Anyway, lads, that was it for today's little crypto stream. I'll see you guys again probably somewhere later today. If something crazy happens, something pops up, as you know, I'll be back with another stream. But that's about it for right now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully see you guys again another one. And somebody says, are you able to say that 𝗏𝗏 is better than BTCC? I like 𝗏𝗏 way more than BTCC. So yes, that's me. But, you know, you use whatever you're comfortable with. I like 𝗏𝗏 a lot. And Alcoholic says, thanks for letting me know you're not a bot. I'm not. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, saying hi. I'll see you guys again another one. For sure tomorrow, because I stream every single day. Remember that. If you're not here tomorrow for the stream, sad.